Hey, it's time to talk about PvP. For today's video I had a look at the Whirlwind in Battleground and I want to share my honest opinion about that with you. So I will split this video into two parts as I promised you a PvP build with the new essences. First part Whirlwind, second part super nice build for Battleground and the updated tower mode, which you know from the clan battles. This build is absolutely worth it, as it is in my opinion currently the best go-to barbarian build that can be played throughout any resonance rank and will improve your win rate. So let's start with Whirlwind. New essences are awesome in PvP, as I showed you already in my last video. But can it perform in PvP too? Well, many of you tried the combinations in the last days. There were interesting discussions on different Discord channels and I did my share on testing too. So how many Whirlwind Barbs did you see today in Battleground? Not many, I guess. This is because it didn't work out as hoped. It is not completely unplayable, but it will be most effective for high resonance players. The issue is the damage output. You need 500 to 1000 armor penetration more than the armor of your enemy to land the proper damage we need. As you will see in this video here, where I was one of the highest resonance players in the matchup. That's why I will keep this build insights a bit shorter and give you my both build suggestions that work best for me before getting to part 2 with builds that worked 100% for all of you and will benefit your playstyle. So first build is of course around the fallow field. This is our new channelable Whirlwind main hand essence that drains our life and gives us a huge damage buff and of course endless spins. So we start with that. We go over to the chest that works good here. It is a crit chest of the new essences. We have the Screaming Fury as a pants to give us a little bit CC. We go with the Wrath new essence to drain life and the Falling Thunder to increase our damage by bleed. For that we have our main hand essence, our Lazaret sword where we can deal this bleed damage, and the, I think it's called Ragfall shoulders that gives us a 20% damage reduction once we spin, combined with the helmet that prolongs our undying rage. So why does it work? We have good things for survive. We have our undying bonus of an additional second with the Vitus proc. We have the Wrath life drain to give us a good heal, and our Whirlwind damage reduction. So a lot of stuff to stay alive longer. And then we have our damage. We have a bleed combo. That works even better if you go with the lashed. 6-piece lashed is a good thing for that build. So you have that bleed on all of the enemies and can utilize the Falling Thunder pretty good. We have a permanent wall crit because our main hand is dealing damage to ourselves, so we are always active with the 3 procs of crit chance improvement from the chest, so always a 30+% for crit chance. And we have a permanent Whirlwind attack speed improvement with that shoulder. That shoulder that giving us the damage reduction is a beneficial effect, procs the 4-piece Vithus and makes us faster. It improves the whirl animation, that's why you deal more damage. And then, and this is an important part in this build, we have an initiation CC. So we have our Screaming Fury knock-up. This is cool because we do it like the normal rota will be like you leap, you charge the enemy, you knock him up, you deal 1 primary attack to deliver the bleed damage or the lashed, and then you whirl around and spin around like crazy to kill him. And that works pretty good. It works best with the combination of the 4-piece, of course, Vithus. We have a 2-piece seats. They are pretty cool. 30% additional damage stacking up, but as we have our Vithus in here and have it permanently active, it is pretty useful, and just pretty, because it doesn't even take half of a second. It's like you need 3 attacks, and once you whirl, you have that 3 attacks like immediately. So you take full potential of that set bonus. And the 2-piece banquet, which gives another 50% because we have the bleed and continual damage. Well, anyways, continual damage. We have the vipers in there and so on. So 45% additional damage. In combination with all of the other stuff, this is why this build can work when you have higher resonance. Otherwise, it's still not enough. When you fight an enemy at the same stage, it will still not be enough to deal the damage you need to instantly kill damage dealers like demon hunters, wizards, or anything. It will not be enough. They run away from you, and then it's useless to go for a damage build if you can't kill. Okay, second build is even for the whales, for the really high resonance players, because here we are focusing on a free movement instead of a CC. We're going to the Heartless Terror helmet that gives you the immunity to CC and any knockbacks. We're prolonging this with the offhand blade, giving us 30 or 40% longer duration of the demoralize. And as we can move freely now, we don't have a free slot anymore for the charge. The pants stay empty, so it's okay, we don't need them in here. But then we can go for the shoulders. We even go into more bleed damage because we don't have our Falling Thunder combo anymore, so we take in here the ox horns to get our damage still up, and the rest nearly works like the same. That's why you always have the bleed active. That is cool for the high resonance, dealing those small damages and just effectively kill other people. Survive, again, CC immunity, the Wrath, Life Drain, we have it in here as well. For the damage, we have the AoE dot spread. That's important because you go with the Demoralize now, high range, you take a bypass or anything in there, so you deal a lot of AoE damage, dot damage, and that activates the Banquet, of course. We have the bleed dot from the shoulders, we have a permanent wall crit in here as well, and because we're taking the shoulders, we can add another 10% damage with an awakening. That is nice as well. So for the sets here, 4-piece Vithus, again, important. The Demoralize can be triggered often enough with the Berserker to give us the proc of the 4-piece. And then we take the 4-piece Banquet, because Vipers plus Demoralize means dot on everyone around you. And that's why it really boosts our crit chance here, again, in addition to the chest already, to improve our damage furthermore. Those two builds, I like the first one more, but I'm not a really high resonance player. I play at 3000, 3500. There the first build worked. Second one still didn't work for me because I was not able to deal enough damage in the proper time, but a whale really could go like crazy with that. Let's start into part 2. My go-to build for Barbarians currently. It is not new, but with the latest essences, it turned into something very effective. It is time for chains. So let's look into it. This build is a high mobility, high controlling and damage dealing build with a good survivability. So it's a real all-roundish build for every scenario. It comes with a leap, wrath, chained spears, and the undying rage. The first combination in here is how we deal our damage. So we have the crit with the new essence of the Pants of Cliff Dyrus, where we get this 20% additional crit chance. And the second one is the Ardent Fervor, where we get our attack speed bonus. Those two are helping us to deliver damage. Next is how we survive again. Our Roar of the Persuasion gives us a life drain, which heals up pretty good in this build because it's focused around that. You will see that later. And the Ancestor Steel to prolong our Undying Rage to give us more standing time under the idol. Next combination are the multiplicators. It's of course the bleed. We have a falling thunder here again for the additional damage for bleed, and the rending bite to deliver the bleed. And lastly, the control functionalities, starting with the shocking chaos, which gives our leap now, where we get the crit chance and additional stun. That is important. And lastly, which is the most important part of here, the Temple of Battle, our sweeping spears, which makes our spears a chain spears and deals a CC to all enemies within range. This build works best with a 6-piece banquet. We have that heavy dot damage we deal with a 6-piece, and what's so nice about it, it is activated by any dot we deal. So we are going, you will see that later with the Vipers of course, and the spears that has really a high range, they spread your banquet to all of the enemies, and with the better crit chance we got from the pants, those hits crit more often, and when they crit more often they deal more damage, and with the Wrath Essence we leech life like crazy. And this is the point of why this build now got so good with the new essence. Those two essences really multiply the banquet and the spears to get into a real cool controlling life leeching build that, yeah, just works out very, very good. And of course we go with the 2-piece Vithus here to prolong any of those, to make them last longer. For the gems, I would advise you, or I have some suggestions for you. Of course, the Vipers is kind of essential, and the Gloom works pretty good as well, because you're still dealing primary attack damage. Once you have stunned them, you slash them down. Once you used your chain spear, you slash again. So the Gloom works good in here, and it gives you an additional damage source. So those twos are important, but they work as an auxiliary gem, so you don't have to rank them up. If you have them, of course, use them. Rank 10 Vipers always nice, but you can use any gem you have and put them in as an auxiliary gem. That is working good. In addition, the Pain Clasp, of course, is very useful with Banquet, with Vipers. This gem is always up. Lament is nice to even further improve our critical hit chance. And altogether, that's working pretty good. You have the Leap, the Lament, your base crit chance, and with that you can get up to nearly 30-40% easily and can even go further. So you have nice crit chance in this build. So some additions for this build. When you look at the Reforged, Tremor bonus works pretty good. Of course, go for primary attack damage, go for beneficial effect duration. But if you then have a few pieces left, then I would really suggest you the Tremor bonus. You can get up to 40 or 50% of CC and knockback immunity, which is nice, as this build doesn't give you much of that. And you have that heavy stun on your primary attack, which is good. For curses, I say go for Lashed. Lashed is nice. There's another bleed you can easily deal. Detested is very good as well. 6-piece gives you a 12% increased damage on everyone in the field. So when you go for your chained spear, it deals a stun. Stun is a total loss of control, so you instantly fire that detested field, and all the people are in there, so then you can leap again. You leap even deal 12% additional damage. It's just working pretty good. Torture is nice, of course, as well. When you leap on someone, having that trail for people who are following you, it could be really useful. It's an overall nice curse, but honestly I would go for Detested or Lashed first. And for Paragon, the Warden works really good because we're getting more tanky. We can even stay a bit longer within the crowd. Normally we control the crowd with all of our CCs, so we have that 4 CCs which we can fire in a row. And then leave the battle. So Warden helps us to survive even longer when we get stunned. Gladiator, of course, is a useful Paragon as well, but first I would go for Warden. that's it for the Battleground. But now we have our new mode, our tower PvP mode, that is mainly the same mode as we had before from the clan tower battles. But it comes with new challenges. So we could use our Battleground build, but honestly, we need to do something else to really be good in that tower. So when we look at the build here, we now take sprint into our set, because first rule for Barbarian in the tower, you need to be fast as hell. You are the guy activating the towers and stealing left alone towers. That is one of your main jobs as a very fast class. We still have our Wrath and our Chain Spear. Chain Spear very important to disrupt the enemies, to take them from the tower away when they want to activate it, to push them to in our favorite direction, and Undying Rage to just stay longer in battle. So first essence or first combo is for our sprint. We have the second breath. It makes our sprint duration longer. It increases the duration so that we permanently can use it. That is really important. Swifting is nice as well, because now we are pushing our team members as well. So when we are rushing to a tower, it is good to reach there first, but normally we would like to have someone in our back when we reach there, not die alone on the tower and then the other one finally reaches the tower as well. So that's why swifting helps to keep our allies close. For damage, we take our Berserker with the Roar of Persuasion again, the Falling Thunder. As before, we utilize the Bleed from the main hand, take that additional damage, and the Life Leech. For the main hands, Ardent Fervor, Rending Bite, again, we want to primary attack, we want to deal bleed damage, we want to utilize Falling Thunder, and we want to be fast with that, so pure damage focus on primary again. What we can do now is, as we do not have a leap, we switch to the sprint. We have the Shoulder Essence free, and we now can go as we leave a damage skill out. Leap deals damage, sprint does not deal any damage, so we take the Nature's Temper in here. We boost our primary attack even more, because it needs to hit harder as we are missing some CC. For the other CC part, the Temple of Battle, we still go with that. So we have 2 stuns and can hit pretty hard with that shoulders. For the pieces, set pieces, 6-piece Banquet still works pretty good. There is a little disadvantage in the tower because it is larger. So you have less enemies on the same spot. Where on the Battleground you're meeting up to 3 to 6 players, here you're meeting up 1 to 3 only. So the effect of spreading your Vipers with the Banquet is less effective. So in this case you could go to a 4-4. You take the advantage of the higher attack speed, so you focus more on getting damage instantly to the enemy when you approach him with a faster initial attack speed. And as we learned, it stacks a bit with the Ardent Fervor. It's not just that 35, you get to like 40, 42 or something attack speed, so you focus on getting more primary attack done and still benefiting from that crit from the Banquet. Whew. That were a lot of builds for today for PvP. Hopefully one of them is good for your playstyle, benefits your playstyle and you like it. If you do so and want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe or send me a comment if you have any additions to the videos as always. And yeah, I wish you all a good time in the new PvP mode and have fun, guys.